Time for more Ippo discussion. So this time I finished season 1, so that's 51 through 75, and then I watched Champion Road. So it kind of, ended off on a perfect spot last time with the Volk fight. So this time we got into Date Eiji and Ippo's attempt to get the featherweight champion belt. And I thought, before I go into talking about the individual little stuff, but I don't know, I started the series this is an 8, and I'm finishing season 1, this is an 8. It's overall really solid. I don't think, I don't know, but I'll get into it because I still like the Volk fight a lot, but the Ippo versus Endo 2 is also really good, and I'll explain. Because some people were like, how do you not like Ippo versus Endo 2 better? And it's like, well, okay, just shut up. Wait, so Date Eiji, I liked learning his backstory, how he sort of fell out of boxing, and the scene where he was with his wife, and he was like, I don't want to get rid of all these trophies, you don't need them, I'm here, and she's like, you haven't been here since you lost in Mexico, because that changed who he was as a person, and, she was still in a family that changed person, but, he wasn't the same, and so he used boxing, he got back into boxing, and now he's, at the top, and now he's going out in the world stage, because he gave Ippo his first loss, which was also interesting. See that, and that was probably, for me, the most interesting thing in this stretch of episodes, so, because it goes into, the Sendo fight, too, because, when he started out, Ippo, he was putting his all into it, but he also, he hadn't experienced loss, so he almost had no fear of failing, because it's well, I did my best, he didn't, he wouldn't, that's all he would have felt, so since that was all he knew, he was kind of able to be incredibly persistent and have all this will. But after Eiji beat the shit out of him, now he's like, wow, that losing hurts, it's not just about, just boxing because he likes boxing, now winning is a factor in it too, and so then, now the fear of losing became something that was holding him back, and he had to overcome that. And I just wanted to say that I like that as a, where just the character is initially ignorant in some ways, and then when their perspective changes, they have to recontextualize that knowledge. That's why failure is really good, or can be really good in regards to characters and their arcs and stuff. And the fight was also neat because you could really see Date's experience, because he just had all these tools where Ippo's just been kind of picking up one thing at a time. Date, oops, that didn't work, so he does the under the ear punch or the over the ear punch, where he just he just does that and dizzies Ippo, he doesn't even do the heartbreak punch that was built up until at the very end, basically, and he still had all this up his sleeve, pretty much. And it was also neat to see him, because there was a part where, he got mad, and Ogito was surprised, because Okito was, emulating Date's boxing earlier, but now he's seeing this side to him that he hadn't seen before. So, Ippo's, because Ippo has that effect where he pushes people, just as they push him, in a sense. And, of course, the big thing was that, just because, before he was doing his best, not, wanting to win, but not necessarily hungering for the win. So, like Date said, your fists are light. There wasn't any weight behind him, no drive to do better than he was doing. And so, in losing, he was finally given that drive, so to speak. Anyway, this is more of a general thing, going throughout, because, you have the gradually evolving romance between Kumi and Ippo, and Kumi being Mashba Ryo's his little sister, is the best thing that could have happened, because it creates just this sort of really fun, dynamic between the three of them, because Mashba, he's just this protective older brother, but he's also this really creepy, boxer in a higher weight class than Ippo, who's also has a grudge against him because they fought and lost. I think my favorite single gag in the series so far is when Kumi's talking to Ippo on the phone, and, Mashiba's let me listen, and, or let me talk to him, and she's like, no, go away. And he does a flicker to, grab the phone from her. And that was great. That was, and then there are other moments that I really like too, when they're on their date, and like I think they're in a haunted house, and Ippo's like, "Ooh, spooky ghosts," and then he sees Mashiva following them, and he fucking loses his shit and runs and he's screaming, and Kumi's like, "What the fuck? Where? Come on, wait, I'm Ippo, where are you going?" And my brother wouldn't be here, and then like in the background he's like clearly walking away. It's just so good. But yeah, I didn't get to Kimura versus Mashiva, which is the next thing I have to watch, but that'll, be with the next poll that should be going up with this video. Oh, but yeah, that was fun. Oh yeah, Volg's goodbye was good. Like, he had his match with Sendo, and, lost by points, which of course goes into Sendo and Ippo later, because Sendo, he's being pushed to they mentioned a couple times how he's being pushed more because his battle with Ippo didn't feel conclusive, and now he has this like less than certain victory over Volg, which was driving him to get even stronger so he could fight Ippo and, make up for that, basically. But the goodbye was really good, because he's like, "This is my last word in Japanese, sayonara," and yeah, Volg's a good boy, and I don't know if we'll really see him again. See, that's the thing, is like, because I checked, and I'm like apparently like 30 volumes in, and I was like, oh shit, okay, so I'm actually like a quarter of the way through the series now, which is surprising. I didn't, that's how much they adapted. Okay. But that's also like, okay, how much is that? That's how much there's left to go, because we end off with Ippo's the featherweight, and Champion Road is his first title defense. So I'm like, okay, okay, I guess we'll see how it goes from here, because like that's a lot. Even though he was already at the top, so yeah, I don't know what to. I know like one or two things going forward, in like the 1100-1200 range, but so. I'll see. I will read it eventually, but yeah. Anyway, I guess the thing. I mean, there's other smaller stuff that I'm skipping over, but the next big thing was the Aoki Kimura flashback, which was nice to see. How they got into boxing and why they, Takamura, they wanted to beat him, and then eventually it stopped being about beating Takamura and more they just like getting stronger and bettering themselves, and now Aoki's got like a girl, and it's like, whoa, okay. And they have like that led to actually like Aoki having his fight where he's like, oh, I have something now, and he's able to it's a little good moment for him, who's normally a joke character. So yeah, where Kimura had the opposite, where he's getting the nurse girl he was looking looking towards, but was came to his boxing match with another guy, and so Aoki had like a positive match, Kimura not so much, but they both won. But anyway, yeah, their backstory was good, and then there was a mountain training camp, and so yeah, the big thing there was obviously Takamura fighting a fucking bear, and that was good because you had him like he was so prideful about like, yeah, I'm so strong, I can fight a bear, but then he felt regretful when like the bear was just protecting its children, and he didn't want to kill it, obviously. But then it got fucking killed anyway, and he was wearing his pelt, or her pelt, into the match. But but aside from all that, like, what really, like, so a couple weeks ago, well, actually, more than a few weeks ago is when I started it, but, it was, or let me, hold on. Okay, yeah, so I finished, Ultra 7 halfway through last month, May, and I started it in April. And so, it was really fucking weird. When Takamura's fighting the bear, it gets all heroic, and then I'm like, that instrumentation sounds familiar. And then it was the theme song from Ultra 7 no Uta. And I was like, what the fuck? Because why is this song playing while Takamura is fighting a bear? Because, like, I just don't understand why they would choose that song specifically. Because it's like, it's kind of a heroic sounding song, but like, it wasn't made for Hajime, but like, I think it might have been, I need to check the lyrics. I don't know if it was a parody, because the translation I used didn't subtitle the song, so I don't know if it's a parody or not, because it did sound different. But it's also at the time of this show's airing, it would have been a 33-year-old show, give or take. Ultra 7 aired in like 1967. And, so the manga would have come out like 20 years later, or it started like in 1989, I'm pretty sure. And so this moment would have happened in like the 90s. So, but I don't know, like, I just don't know why, like, okay, so does the author like Ultra 7? Did the anime staff like Ultra 7? Is there like a character, because sometimes the authors will put like extra pages and volumes and stuff with like character details and stuff. On Takamura, is there a mention of Ultra 7? Does he like it? Because I checked, and apparently in a later season, he gets into a big fight, I'll just say Hawk, and when he comes into the ring, the Ultra 7 theme plays there too, so it's clearly being associated with Takamura. I just don't know why. Why this specific season of Ultraman? Why Takamura? Because it's not like he's a very heroic character. He's kind of a jackass. Like there's moments where like there's he gives some money to Ippo, and I think someone even says like, "Wow, Takamura, you're being really nice." And then I was even like, "Wow, that was really." And then it turns out he stole the money from Aoki. So no, he's still being a piece of shit. Like there was a whole bit where he like with the nurses, or specifically because they did like a group date, and Ippo was with Kumi. And they all paired off with the nurses, and Takamura like assaulted or tried to like kiss or divorce. I don't know. It was a big like scandal, and there was a magazine or tabloid or something or some article that. And when Takamura had his match, everyone was booing him because they're like, "You're a piece of shit." And then Ippo like goes into his room to look up tapes, and fucking there's like a bunch of answering machine messages of women who are calling Takamura and calling him a piece of fuck. Basically, he's garbage. The man is a piece of shit. So why is Ultra 7 being associated with him? I don't understand. If anyone does know about why, again, like this one specifically, like does the character like it? Is there something else that I don't know about? I'm really curious as to why, because I had to Google it, and the question wasn't like why this song specifically. It was like, what is this song? Because obviously it's a Toku reference. Not everyone is familiar with Ultra 7. It's a complete coincidence that I happened to watch it right before this stretch of episodes. So it was a little distracting, I guess, for me, because I couldn't even get immersed myself into like Takamura's just fighting a fucking bear. Because Ultra 7's theme song is playing, and I'm like, what the fuck? But anyway, of course, the mountain training was leading up to Ippo versus Sendo. So I think, okay, see, I've just noticed this weird, because I noticed this with the Champion Road Sonata fight too, and like, for a lot of Ippo matches, I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is cool, this is happening, but then there's like a moment where it just like draws me in, and I'm like, oh shit, and so like, see, with the Volk match, I don't remember if I was enjoying it the whole way through, or if it was the same way, where there's just a part that drags me in. So that's why it's hard for me to say a favorite, because if I go by favorite single moments, then it's definitely like the climax of the Sendo fight, where that shit was intense. But I won't know until I read the manga, I guess. But no, Ippo versus Sendo was good, because they've got the whole rematch going on, and Sendo's good, and they're both like pushing each other to do better. And like there's an mention where like, oh yeah, Sendo was really strong, but now he's increased his lower body strength, and where Ippo had really good lower body strength, but now he's increased his upper body strength. So it's like they're making up for their weak points, and they're more refined as boxers, even though because they've been like steadily working themselves up, and Ippo just started boxing a few like 3 years ago, so they're able to go at each other with everything they've got. And especially like in the climax, there's a part where like Ippo hits Sendo, and then it like maybe seems like it's almost over, and then you see Sendo's eyes, and Ippo's like, oh shit, he's still got energy. He's still got like that look in his eyes. And it's like, ah! And the fight was basically over, because I think after Sendo ended up on the rope, where he did get knocked down after that. But it was it got tough there for a second. Oh yeah, and we did also get Sendo's backstory more, where we see his like how he lost his parents, and he's also looking for strength, and though his idea of strength is being able to beat everyone so he can protect anyone, where Ippo's still like he's always recognizing other people's strength. Like I really noticed that in the Sonata fight, because he's like, this guy's so strong, like he's more able to recognize other people's strength, even though he beats them, and apparently there's later context that gets at what Ippo's looking for in regards to true strength. I have my own ideas so far, but I'm only like a quarter of the way through this whole entire series so far. Like that, so not even entire series, just what's come out so far. And yeah, I don't know if I have much specific to say about Ippo versus Sanada. Like, it was fine. Like, it came out a few years later, and so like it definitely looks like, I think that they switched to digital rather than like cell animation, because it definitely looks different. That's my assumption as to, or my guess as to why it's different. But yes, Sanada was kind of interesting as, he's a doctor, and like that, there's like the logic versus the illogical, because he does mention like boxing is unpredictable, but there were moments in the fight where he was in like the last exchange in particular, Ippo was like, he's gonna give every bit that he has, and he just does that like really light punch, and then after that, Sanada goes in because he's like, I got it, like Ippo's just gonna do his best, and it's gonna, what happens, where Sanada, because of his logic, he's like, yeah, this is how it's gonna go, and then it became unpredictable. The difference between sort of like accepting how it is, or assuming how it's going to be, I guess. And of course there were some other things like they mentioned the relationships with their seconds, how Sanada had a very recent bond with his, and just picked up a couple techniques where Ippo, like there's a part where I can't get up, and then his legs aren't working, and so his coach smacks him on the back, and he even feels that later in the match, and it keeps driving him forward because he has this trust with the person who trained him and gave him everything, so many of the techniques he has, and it was a good match. And then you have fucking the stuff with Ippo and Kumi going on, where there's like the arm wrestling thing to get Ippo to confess to her, and at the end, she kind of does with him, but he, like, accepts it like a perma-virgin. So yeah, but, there might be more, I have to say, about, I can't remember right now, though. But yeah, season 1 is solid. I gave it an 8 still. Just same score, like I said, same score I had. I think I just gave Champion Red a 7, because, it was just a good match, but I didn't like it as much as, like, the major ones in the episodes I just watched, or my favorites in season 1 in general, so... But it was nice to see Ippo accepting that, he's champion now. Like, there was the scene where he was getting interviewed, and they're just like, champion, do you have anything to say? And he's just, like, slowly puts on his shirt, and the coach, like, smacks him on the back of the head, and he's like, you're a champion, aren't you? Like, he's so stupid. But yeah, it's fun. So anyway, next time, if Ippo gets voted, I'll be watching... Mashiba versus Kimura, and I think, is it Rising or New Challenger? One of those, whichever ones comes next. Like, I see them both in front of me, I'm just not 100% sure which is the second season. It's on Mal, it's not, I won't make the mistake of watching season 3 first or anything, because one of them aired in, 2013, and the other aired in, the 2000s still, so it's like, I wonder which one comes first. But anyway, I'm almost done with Ippo. We're 3/5 of the way through. So more Ippo. Yeah, it's good.